good, be hustlers? Thank you guys for tuning in. In this video today, I'm going to be breaking down the costs that were associated with that rent-to-rent property that I vlogged. I actually vlogged the start to finish process. Now, if you haven't watched those videos, I would advise that you go ahead and watch those videos so that you can understand or come to speed with what is going on, especially considering I'm going to be sharing with you all the costs that were associated with that property. Now, if you're new to this channel, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and make sure to hit that notification bell so you're always alerted on the new videos that I upload. If you are new, my name is B. Come along on this ride. I make videos on entrepreneurship, self-development, and all that good stuff. So I hope you'll be sticking around. Anywho, enough of the rambling on. Let's get into this video. Just to give you guys a little quick synopsis of what a rent-to-rent is. A rent-to-rent is a business strategy, okay? It's not necessarily an investment strategy. It's more so a cash flow strategy whereby you take a property from a landlord who lets it out to you as a whole, and you either maximize the potential of what that property can offer you, whether that be by turning it into an HMO, as I've done with this property. Or if you're watching this, maybe perhaps you've heard of service accommodation strategy, and there's also the rent to buy strategy, which you may also be familiar with, or you've heard a few bits here and there. I mean, I don't want to go into too much within this video because it is all about the cost anyways. If you want to know more on the rent-to-rent strategy, you are always welcome to leave me a comment and I'll be sure to answer any questions you guys may have. Otherwise, you can also follow me on my Instagram where I share more of my journey in property and the strategies that I'm engaging in. So I hope to see some of you guys connecting with me on there. On YouTube, you'll find that there's a lot of videos on what is a rent-to-rent and so on and so forth, but not many actually give you guys an idea of how much it can actually cost you. Now, I didn't want to just have to pick out random numbers and say it's going to cost you £2,000, it's going to cost you £4,000, £6,000. I wanted to be able to use this property as an example so I can give you guys a better understanding of how to compile the costs that could be associated with your rent-to-rent property. But of course, I do understand that every deal is different, but it's just for guidance. This property didn't really require much work, just slight cosmetic work here and there, a touch of paint just to give it a fresh uplift, and a lot of it really, in terms of bringing it to what it looks like now, was down to decoration. Essentially, there's still money that I had to put towards this project either way. So to break it down, I'll start firstly with the beginning, the initial setup cost. By the way, I have my laptop in front of me because I've got all the figures down here, so I'm just going to keep bubbling. But yeah, the setup cost consisted of £700 for the rent. Initially, the owner wanted £850. I managed to go negotiate it to £700 with actually 2 weeks free. If you don't ask, you don't get. I had to pay towards the company reference check. Yes, another thing with the rent-to-rent, you may want to take it on a company let, but I will cover sort of agreements and how to set those up in later videos, so stick around for that. The company reference fees cost me $250, and then I had to put down also a deposit. Now, I know people who sometimes negotiate a no deposit deal, provided that maybe they will pay in advance or whatever it may be, that kind of stuff. Now, I didn't want to pay in advance for this one, so I was happy to put down the deposit of $825 for this property, so bringing the total to $1,775 for the initial setup costs. You with me on this, guys? Okay, now we move on to the sort of light refurbishment process. What I needed for this property was emergency lights. I bought 4 of these emergency lights, costing me a total of £104. Ka-ching. I had to buy thumb locks for each of the bedroom doors, and these cost me £19.66 each, and I bought 7 of these, costing me a total of £137.62. I had the walls repainted, ceilings and everything. Those, I'm very happy to tell you that That didn't cost me anything. Then I had to get fire alarms, smoke alarms, whatever you want to call, smoke detectors and so on. You watched me buy these guys in one of my vlogs. These cost me £29.96. I bought 8 of these and the total came to 239.68. So the next thing that I had to pay towards was getting someone to come in and do a rewiring of the system so that I can be able to have the emergency lights connected and that kind of stuff. That cost me £500 or so. The next thing was doors within the property. For the most part, the doors that were already in here in the bedrooms were sufficient, so I didn't have to change those. That was a save. But the one door that I had to change, which was the kitchen door, and I explained this in one of my vlogs, that cost me £31.98. And then the other thing that I had to buy for the fire doors was the fire strips, which goes around the door. Those cost only £1.39 each. I bought 6 of them, coming to a total of £8.34. I bought 12 new LED bulbs because I had all the bulbs changed within the property so that they're LED and energy efficient, and they cost me only 55 pence, bringing it to £6.60 for all 12. The other thing that we changed obviously was the flooring in the bathroom, where we took the old one out and we added a vinyl laminate flooring in the color gray. We had a spare lying around from other projects, essentially saving myself some money on that. The next part was the furniture cost. I'm just going to clutter into categories. So basically the living room, which I'm in right now, I spent a total of about £473.50 to furnish it to what it is right now. So moving on, the kitchen, starting with the kitchen table, that cost me £25, and then £10 each for the actual dining table chairs, the utensils, pots, kettle, toaster, the necessities required in the kitchen. That came to a total of £107. The radiator cover cost me £20. The Ivy Little plant, that cost £3. The clock on the wall cost only £5, and that's because I bought that secondhand. The flowers and the vase, bought that from IKEA. I'd say it's a total about £17 because those little flowers, they tend to be hella expensive when, you know, a compound effect has anything to do with it. Now moving on to the bedroom, I'd say that each room cost me about £200 to furnish it with a bed, wardrobe, bedside tables, lamps, and whatever else that is needed within the bedrooms. So the total for just furnishing the rooms, £800 it cost me. Now that aside, I'm going to highlight what I have estimated will be the running costs of operating this rent to rent. For me, with this property, I've had to factor the £700 plus between 300 to 350, sometimes can be more depending on the season, or less depending on the season, that goes towards the utilities. This may be broadband, your gas, electric, water, council tax, that type of thing, insurance. The expenses that I have factored into my ongoing costs will come to about a total of £1,070 a month. Now that's me being very conservative here. Now let's talk about the good stuff. What I'm expecting in rental each month. The 2 large double bedrooms, I'm hoping to make between £480 to £500 a month. As for the small double, I'm hoping to market between £430 to £450 a month, and then finally the single bedroom between £380 to about £400 a month. This is me being conservative with my figures. I'm hoping to make between £700 to £1,000 at least a month in income. As you know, I am holding this property for 10 years. The reason I went for a 10-year lease is because of the hospital that's right next to the property. I want to be able to benefit from that when it's fully completed. That could spike up the rental demand for the rooms here in this property. To finish off this video, I just wanted to leave you guys with a few of my tips for operating a rent to rent. Tip number 1, once you have set up your rent to rent, just always have some reserve money on the side, because even though you're guaranteeing rent to the owner each month, it does not mean that you will go without voids, okay? And this is something you have to factor in your setup as well. Always identify a second strategy should your first strategy not work. My third tip to you, if you are going to be operating a rent-to-rent, is have a good management system in place that helps you so you can thrive in this field. Those are the few little points I just wanted to highlight alongside this video. If you are somebody who is interested in starting a rent-to-rent, I hope the video has been somewhat helpful. You're always welcome to leave me your questions in the comment section below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment and share. Be sure to click on that little bell down below so you never miss a video from me. In the meantime, guys, continue being hustlers.